All right, we are live. Welcome, guys. Let me know if you can see me. I'm going to share my entire screen now. So let me know if you can see my screen clearly. I'm sure you can now, right? You can see the screen, right? You can see the screen and you can hear me. All right, so let's start. Stopped at we stopped at meaning of content marketing. Yes, content creation yesterday. Content marketing in general, rather. So I think we discussed the meaning. Let me reduce my brightness. All right, good. I want to reduce the brightness of my screen tonight. All right. So Nengi, remind me of where we stopped last time. It was just yesterday. Oh, remind me, please. I'm expecting your response. So where did we stop? Can you hear me? I said, where did we stop the last class? Where did we stop the last class? I hope MTN won't fail us this night. I said, where did we stop the last class? The mic is fine now. Abi? Marketing. Okay. So I think I discussed with you guys. I said you guys should guess four forms of marketing, like four major forms of marketing that we have from these types mentioned here, right? And you guys have not been able to do that. So let me help you because no, I said like I want you to think of I want you to think of the four major forms of image here from this image of different types of content marketing that is here, that you should tell me that the four major forms of content marketing, and they're already here already, like they're already here. mm? But not all, right? Not all, but everything is here, but it's not just direct, right? So let me tell you guys, everything here, everything, all the marketing, we've revolves around just four forms, which are: one, text based. Text based blog post, you agree with me that it is text, right? So newsletters, you agree with me that it is text. Should I increase it so that you will see it clearly? Let me zoom it. Even though it is blurry, I'm sure you still be able to see, right? Please let me know if you can see this clearly. So this blog post, this first one, number one here, is text. This newsletter, right, it is still text. These ebooks, number six, it is still text. Good. It is still text. Text, right? This case studies as well is also text, right? So let's move on to the second. We've mentioned one form, right? We also have video. We also have video based forms. This is video. It is text. User generated content. It is video. This is video. It is video. This is user generated content. Number 9, UGC. Now I mentioned this UGC the last class. Was it the last class or the upper one? This user generated content. It is also video, right? This course is too. It might be text, it might be audio, it might be video. It is also video, right? It's also video. These free tools too can be video, can be audio, can be text. This social media too can be video, can be audio, can be text. So I've mentioned too, right? We also have the graphics form of content, and this infographics falls under it. Info falls under it. Anything graphics or anything design is also a content. We also have the last one, which is audio, and we have podcast here, and I think there's no other thing, right? This infographics and this memes, they are both graphics forms of content, and this podcast is audio form of content, right? So let's move forward because time is really no on our side. Okay, so we have the text base here, which is the first one, and it's written words designed to inform, educate, or persuade. Is what? Blog posts, captions, tweets, threads, articles, ebooks, newsletters. Like even without any further information, you already understand this, like very, very clear. Text based are the written form of content that are mainly to inform, educate, or persuade. And this does not mean that other does not educate and does not persuade. So we'll come to that later. But the text base is to inform, educate, or persuade. And this tells you that the text based content, they carry much of information, like the informed part and the educative part of the content. They carry much of it. So that is where this is where newsletters, ebooks, and articles comes from, right? If you notice, blog posts, articles, ebooks, newsletters, they are informed. They perform the informed part of the content the most, right? They perform it the most and they educate the most. So you agree with me for that. But it's not as if other forms of content does not perform these functions, right? So we've already mentioned it here: the blog posts, captions, tweets or threads, articles, ebooks, newsletters, right? So why it matters? We have search engines like Google, Bing, Mozilla Firefox to rank content, and this is a fact. You can't dispute it. Like search engines, they still rely heavily on text to rank. This is where the search engine optimization comes in, right? Heavily on text, and this relying on heavily on text comes in where keywords matters in SEO. Keywords matters in SEO. So if you want to search something on Google, you have to type, right? You have to make use of text. Even if you are using voice, it is still text. It will still be showing your voice. You understand? So this is to tell you that this search engine, they heavily on text to rank content. So written words can be repurposed into other forms. And this very well. Like another reason why this text-based content matters is that written words can be repurposed into other forms. Audio itself is another form of content. We can also have text to scripts, like video scripts, which itself is also another form of content. We can also have text is also what? Another form of content. You get the idea, right? Let me know if you have any regarding that aspect. So text creates authority when detailed and clear. Remember we talked about the Google formula, the EEAT principle, the experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trust. And this does not mean that only text-based can perform this Google formula. All other form of content can also perform this magic, right? They can also perform the magic. So I saw something now. The best practices, right? The best practices. So the best, we have names of people that have worked on this, right? Like this OJV. I don't know if I got the pronunciation where. So we have using a clear headline. Using what? A clear headline. Using a clear headlines. And this really matters a lot. Blog posts and newsletters. Using a clear headlines. Using a clear headlines, right? So the second one is what? Make text scannable. And what do they mean by scannable? Like short paragraphs, bullet points, bold keywords. As you see this presentation as it is, you see it is scannable. It is scannable. Where it is supposed to be bold, it is bold. Where we are supposed to point, this is bullet point, right? Where we're supposed to have bullet points, we have bullet point there. And where we're supposed to have bold keywords, we have it. And short paragraphs, this is a short paragraph. And if you check most articles and most what's it called? Most articles and most blog posts, they have this kind of thing. This is what we mean by scannable. And if it is unscannable, how do you think it will look like? Like it will be jam packed. If in fact it will not be justified, the whole page will just be full of text without any formatting, and it will look like it will actually look discouraging to people, right? It will look discouraging to people when it's not a research work. You agree with me, there, right? When it is not a research work, mean by that's what it means by it should be scannable. It should be scannable. So the third one that we have, right, using storytelling frameworks. Using storytelling of question. Nagi, can you still hear me and the other? So using story framework, and this storytelling framework is not only limited to text-based content alone. It is also like it applies to all form of content, but it is mostly applied to the text-based and the video-based. We'll get to that. So using storytelling frameworks, it is story brand, success steps to make it stick and good. This storytelling framework, you understand it better at the video side. So let's move on. We have the video content. The video content is also another form of content, right? So that is visuals, short or long. This is tell you that we have short form of content and we have long form of content, and you can form of video content on what? TikTok, right? And even YouTube Shorts. You can also find their long form content of video on courses like on Udemy, Coursera, and others, and also on YouTube long videos that tells a story. Remember, we tell you that a text-based uses a storytelling framework, but video content also makes use of storytelling. Demonstrates a product, what that tells a story or demonstrate a product, which includes what? Reels on Instagram, TikTok, we have TikTok, explainer videos, ads, and live streams like this, right? So moving visuals, actually, this is actually moving, right? It's moving even though it's not moving very well, moving fast, right? So this is to tell you that moving visuals like on moving visuals like Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and others. And there's this rule. There's this rule in literature, like in video literature. I think I've forgotten the seconds to grab attention. I think it's 0.01 seconds. I've forgotten. But there's this particular second that must be used to that must be that must be used to tell a story, which means that a screen or a particular frame screen must actually move within that seconds. I forgot it. Maybe I'll get the particular seconds and tell you later. This is to tell you that human attention has its own specific time You understand? It has its own specific time. And on YouTube, it is said that for the first 3 seconds, if you're unable to grab attention, if you're unable to grab attention, people will just scroll up. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why we have the moving visuals first. Aside from the moving visual, it has to tell a story. It has to tell a story. Even if you want to demonstrate a product, that product must still tell a story. If you see some video ads, for example, now for drinks, maybe energy drinks or refreshment drinks, you see that they first of all tell a story before they show the product. A working person tired or something like that, they'll first of all tell a story before they demonstrate the product, right? So these are the forms that we have. We've already explained the forms or the examples under text based, which are what? Blog posts, articles, and others. But for this one, we have real YouTube shorts, explainer videos, ads, live streams, and others. So why it matters is that video is the most engaging form of content online. Like this is a fact. It is the most engaging form of content online. You can even you can even testify to this, that I'm sure that you've watched a TikTok video today, and today you've not read any article. You've not read any article or even a newsletter. Nengi, don't lie. Just tell me the truth. I know you've not, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of TikTok videos today. Just let me know. Don't worry, I won't beat you. So, video is the most engaging form of content. I'll show you the chart. This thing. Video content has 64%. Exactly, we are coming to that. Yes, it can. So video content has 64%. All right, it has, while written content do what? Has 61, right? I can't believe this. So this written content 61K. Yeah. So let's go back to our let's go back to our let's go back to our class. So algorithms on Instagram, TikTok, it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing, though. Still the same thing, right? So algorithms on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube prioritizes video for reach. Like, you understand? They prioritizes video for reach, especially this TikTok, Instagram, and even YouTube. They prioritize video for reach. You know what I mean by reach? Like the reach. It's still reach, we will call it now. Like how it gets to their audience. Like how it gets to audience and potential customer, right? How it gets to audience and potential customer. So the third one that we have here is that it builds trust faster because viewers can see the product and the seller. Aside from YouTube, where we have faceless channel, and even all, I think Instagram and TikTok too, we can have faceless channel and faceless videos. And it's one of the things that we also want to make use of in our channel, right? Because if a buyer can actually see the product and the face itself, I mean the face that is selling the product, it boosts and builds trust faster, right? It boosts and builds trust faster. So 3 seconds, you see, I mentioned the 3 seconds earlier, right? So hook within the first 3 seconds. Keep short for social, which is 15 to 60 seconds. Detailed on YouTube, we have 50 to 5 to 15 minutes. That's for long videos. Then for short, you keep it for social, which is 15 to 60 seconds. That's the maximum. So add subtitles. Many Nigerians watch without sound due to data or noisy. I'm sorry I added this, but I had to, because use storytelling. I'm telling you, like, the best practices. I will say this to you so that you guys also practical a practical assessment to this. Hook within first 3 seconds. Keep short for social and detailed on YouTube. Add subtitles. Many Nigerians watch without sound due to data. And aside from larger audience, there are some other people where they might actually not understand the accent. So adding subtitles to it, aside from it reaching more audience, due to the subtitle, that is the English or whatever language you want to add as your subtitle, it reach more audience. It will also attract, it will also get to more people. That is, your reach will expand. The reach of that video will expand due to it conforming to the standard or settings of some people. So use storytelling, that is, tell the problems first, solution second, prove and call to action. That's all. Like, very simple. Problem first. So even this is even a formula for copywriting. So you can keep that. I dash you. So let me come back to this. I'm sure this search engine, the search engines that we have, they are the one still making written content. They are the ones still making written content, followed by video content, because those don't let me talk. Because I'm very sure that the Gen Z of nowadays are not interested in written content anymore. Like, we are interested in video. I'm sure you agree with me that if your lecturer gives you like an handout that explains the whole course, and you come across an Indian YouTuber video that explains the whole thing, you will prefer to watch that Indian YouTuber than your lecturer's handout, right? Let me know if I'm lying. So the third one here is the visual content, and the visual content what the graphics. We'll get the audio content is the last one, right? But like, people still make use of this audio content. Don't worry, we'll get to it. So the audio content is the third one that we have right here, which is the sound-based content. Yes. Which is the sound-based content. We have podcast, Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse, voice note, jingles, audio ads, and all that. So I'm sure the only thing that actually stand out the most here is the podcast and the voice notes, right? That you can really relate to here is the voice note and the podcast. I've never heard of any audio ads before. Oh, on all this Spotify, Audio Mac, their music. You know, when you are listening to music with your data on maybe Audio Mac or anything, at some point you hear, like, you hear an ad, right? So that's an audio ad. I think that is actually still relevant to today. Hmm. Yeah, that's good. So podcast, voice notes, and the audio ads, and even jingles. Jingles are the one you listen to on radio, right? So that's good. So we have why it matters. Nigerians spend long hours in traffic and audio fits. Yes, because if you're a Nigerian and you make use of public bus, right? You see that most of these drivers, they like listening to radio. If you don't like it, they like it, and they actually consider it as a form of entertainment for their passengers, right? So it's actually a good thing, and it's also a form of content, right? So if they do not listen to radio, they will actually play particular music for you to listen to. So we have podcasts are growing fast in Nigeria. Audio builds intimacy and trust. If not a public bus, even if it's or anything, like, you will see, if there are some people, those especially those who live those land, right? They like listening to podcasts and maybe some let's say word of God, some sermons in the morning, right? So what into, I'm sure you already know that many small businesses, they send promos and other confirmations via audio. Mm. So the best practice is that make sound quality clear, background noise kills credibility. Yes, I think I can attest to this. Keep structure simple, intro, 3 points, CTAs means call to action, matters, weekly shows, and random uploads. This actually applies to podcasts. Human voice, emotional connection faster than text. In fact, I can tell you countless times that my customers actually tell me that I like your voice, so and because of my voice, I've been able to build this emotional connection faster than writing text. So sometimes I prefer doing voice notes. I prefer doing voice notes. I want to build that, or the graphic content, which is the images, graphics, infographics, memes, that communicates visually. Every visual content actually communicates. It is your photo shoot, your birthday photo shoot. It actually communicates, because I know there is a particular concept that you are communicating there. And this is a kind of art that is very, very special. I love this. I consider, aside from it being a form of art that I really, really love. So images, graphics, flyers, logo, and all. Infographics. You know how infographics look like, charts or any charts or any kind of visual that has a lot of embedded text in things. Memes. I'm sure you can relate to this a lot on Twitter and other spaces. We have photography, designs that communicates visually, that communicates visual 60,000 times faster than text. In here is actually saying faster than text, right? But yet, text is still ranking that all other three. Social media is visual first. Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. I'm sure you through their feed, Instagram feed. If you actually post a particular picture with a nice caption, content. So consistent visuals is equals to what? Stronger brand recall, right? If it is actually strong, people will actually remember your brand, and that's it. So the best practices of it is that you should use brand colors, use consistent brand colors. And that is why it is brand colors. What differentiates brand colors from ordinary color is that it is particular to that brand, and brand colors, it speaks a lot for the brand. So we have fonts and style. That is from branding identity. Don't worry. I think we've not discussed anything about branding this morning. So that will be another thing. Keep design simple and avoid clutter. Infographics work well for data and storytelling, particularly data, right? Infographics work well for data particularly, and I prefer graphic design for storytelling. So, but infographics can still be used for both data and storytelling. So memes work well for cultural relevance plus entertainment. I'm sure Nigeria can relate to this, right? So these are the content: text-based, visual, video, and audio, right? So the text-based are what? They are best for education or SEO, and that is why we have the Google, and that is why the Google and other search engine, they still prioritize this text-based form of content. We have the video, which is best for attention and storytelling, such as the Reels, TikTok shorts, and others. We have audio, best for building personal connection and habit. Visuals, best for quick recall and shooting, like the flyers, infographics, billboards and other other visual advertisements on the road, right? So I actually want us to finish with this, but my laptop is currently down. So yes, we've discussed the forms of content. I don't know if I should call these types, right? But they are like formula. 5 and 6, so sincerely, but they are like formula, right? For content, these four E's, they're like formula of content, because any content any content uh must actually succumb to it, any of this, like any of this four, or any two of this four, or even all of it, right? And regarding the question I asked you, like that, can two or more forms of content be used? Yes. Now, for example, Instagram feed, like I mentioned earlier, if you want to post a picture, you cannot just post ordinary picture and leave it like that. You had a caption, right? And in fact, all social media platforms and messaging apps use it, and actually gives room for it, right? So you can use it on Instagram and or any other thing. Post your picture. Picture is visual. Add a caption. Caption is what? It's text. So that's it. If like make use of the whole form of content, such as the video itself, the visual itself, text, and even audio. So in fact, or even all forms of content together in one, right? Things, and the fourth one is that it empowers some of it that are similar to each other, right? But let's go. So the four E's of content. So in content marketing, different authors and frameworks describe the E's, like the how to create impactful content. So if you want to create a content, you must either let your content speaks one of these E's, right? So, and it's also a question that anybody that wants to create content asks themselves and be like, okay, what do I want to achieve with this content? Do I actually want to educate people, or I want to entertain, or I want to empower, or I want to engage? Actually want to do, right? So we have the educate, which is the first one. Content should teach your audience something valuable. So people follow brands that help them solve problems and not just shouting buy now. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians actually make a lot of this mistake. And one thing I do tell online vendors is that you should not just only post on your WhatsApp status every day. Come and buy for me, come and buy for me, or upload new arrivals or new products. Pick a particular date that you use to actually teach or educate your audience. And it's not even a particular day. I have a vendor that actually makes use of 3 days out of the whole 7 days to educate and entertain and engage, educate, entertain and engage our audience. You understand? 3 days out of the 7 days. So it's actually it's actually a very to drive something valuable. People follow brands that help them solve problems and not just sell skincare products. You can live a day that you actually tell your audience how they can treat their skin and basic tips for treating their skin. That day that you actually live to share testimonials, not just every day posting and posting, come and buy, right? I trust brands that provide useful information first. Actually, from Marcus Sheridan, they ask and you what and you answer. So Google rewards helpful people first content, and here again the formula from Google. So think of one that actually make use of this trick. I've told you mine. So let me know if you have yours. So we have the entertain. Content must be enjoyable, right? Funny, relatable, inspiring, entertainment, and it's actually why brands and companies and businesses they make use of influencer marketing. You know what we call influencer marketing? Like they sponsor a lot of influencers because they know what, and mostly they maybe they reach out to or any other person that actually that have this authoritativeness and this credibility with their audience. Entertainment captures attention and makes people share, right? So entertaining content cuts through the noise in crowded feeds, right? So we have the engagement. Content should start a two-way conversation, not just broadcast. Engagement like likes, comments, shares, saves, posts, Q&A. And you will agree with me that all social media platforms actually has this, including YouTube. You can make use of poll, including WhatsApp. You have poll now, polls that you can use to ask questions and answer, and you actually use it to engage your audience, right? So that's the part of it. You know, if you actually go to YouTube now or WhatsApp or Telegram or anything and send the poll out, you can't attach polls with any other thing. Try it. You can't attach it with any other thing because what? It's also a form of content on its own. You can be like, okay, um, like the polls I created in our class in our AI group today. I asked that anyone like should we hold a course on introduction to AI, and about 5 people actually said yes because I did this on AI to fashion, AI for fashion sellers. And I discovered that those people that even got this, they were unable to navigate the AI tool because what? They do not have the introduction to, they don't have the basic knowledge of AI. So I decided to ask this question, okay, should we hold a free class for introduction to AI? And they actually said yes, right? I'm sorry about the background noise. And they actually said yes. None of them said no or even not yet. You understand? So engage audience, remember and buy more. Engagement triggers what? It triggers social proof, right? It triggers social proof. So a shoe seller on WhatsApp runs a poll like which sneakers should I restock, or a GT Bank Twitter fun conversation replies to followers. I actually added this because I want to remind you of I don't know if you remember this funny tweet that GT Bank actually did to one of their customer that complained about their bank. So it's actually one of like this conversational way to replies to followers, right? If you remember, that's very, very good. So we have empower or enrich. Meaning great content doesn't just inform, it makes people feel stronger, better, and more confident. It inspires what? Action. Like that skincare industry that I mentioned earlier. If you actually tell people that, okay, if you have pimples, stop peeling your pimples. Instead, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that. It actually does what? It makes people feel stronger, better, and more confident. Oh God. And more confident, and it inspires what? It inspires action, right? So I don't want to rush this. Don't worry, we stop where we stop. So empowerment into identity and belonging. Empowerment content what? It taps into identity and belonging. So when people feel part of your movement, they do what? Yeah. So if you, let's say for example, that kind of person that is in the skincare industry, what would they do? If they're doing that kind of content every week for their audience, people will, it will actually make them feel in. So if your content doesn't trick, it is weak. If your content does not treat one of the E's, that just so that it is weak. But if it tricks 2 to 3 like E's at once, it just know that it is powerful, right? That's when content goes noisy to what? To bring in money. To bring in money. So the only thing that we will be need to discuss is just the platform and the format. And I don't want us to watch this because we'll be discussing how each platform, how you can make use of this each platform and the mistakes that people actually make in their content. All right. So let's stop this here. Let me know if you have any question. You can drop it in the comment section or ask in our class. All right. Thank you very much for staying to the end. And I'll see you in our next class.